And could you please, your name is Kate, and it's B-A-E-R?
Yeah, Baer. I asked myself a question when I tried to write this, and that is, how do you condense 15 months of pain into just a few minutes? I'm here to try and do just that, and to express my utmost and intolerable grief. Grief not only for the incomprehensible, inhumane, and unjust way that Becca was taken from us, but grief on behalf of my in-laws, my nephews, my husband, and my family. Becca suffered so much that night, and many nights before, but now we are left to suffer her loss every day and night since. We've all lost something that night. Becca lost her life, and we lost a mother, a daughter, a sister, a niece, an aunt, a cousin, and a friend. But also a piece of ourselves that allows most people to go through their lives without the constant nagging sadness, and a knowledge of the darkest part of humanity that no one should ever have to know exists. But it does exist, and he exists, and we are all worse for it. I will never forget the day after, September 12, 2013, although it still seems unbelievable. I remember driving over to my in-laws before the sunrise and having my father-in-law collapse in my arms the moment he opened the door. Neither of us could speak through the tears, and I still have no idea how he managed to stay standing. To this day, my father-in-law wakes up each night at the same time the police knocked on his door to tell him his only daughter had been murdered. I remember my mother-in-law coming through the door, supported body and soul by my husband. They had stayed an hour's drive away on what was supposed to be a fun overnight trip to visit a cousin passing through on the Pacific Coast Trail. And after a call from my father-in-law, my husband had to wake his mother up in the middle of the night and tell her what had happened and drive her back home. I remember her collapsing on the couch, sobbing and asking my father-in-law what had happened over and over, and saying that she didn't understand over and over. She still cries, she still mourns, and she still doesn't understand, because none of us understand. I'm learning that closure is a fictitious word made up by people capable of sympathy but not of empathy. These memories and feelings are as clear to me and as unchanged today as if it happened 15 minutes and not 15 months ago. For a year, I drove my eldest and middle nephews, Troy and Jake, to counseling every week. It was there that I heard these children, just 8 and 4 at the time, describe that night over and over and over again, in great detail, in an attempt to take away the debilitating panic and immense fear and sadness that they feel every time they think about it. I won't break their confidence from those sessions, but I will say that these boys are stronger than I ever hoped that I have to be. Along with their mother, they have had such a large part of their childhood innocence taken from them. Troy is terrified of knives, and last Thanksgiving, when he was told we were getting ready to carve the turkey, asked quietly if there would be blood. I dropped my now 2-year-old son off to play with my youngest nephew, Emmett, a few months ago. When I came to pick him up, I heard my mother-in-law tell my son that Mama was there, and in the next moment I heard Emmett, who was 2 at the time of his mother's murder, and in fact turns 4 today, squeal with happiness and hope and say, "Mama's here," as he ran to the door. Jake has nightmares. They all have nightmares, but Jake is so angry and scared and confused, but he's too young to explain it to us, but not too young to understand exactly what he's lost or to remember exactly how awful it was. Just a few days ago, he asked if Larry would have to stay in jail until he became a good man. These are just a few examples of what this has done to my family, and I could go on and on. Becca is gone, and this family will never be the same, and not a day goes by that I don't think about that night or how terrified she must have been for herself and for her children. If he should have to pay for that, with the loss of his freedom for the rest of his life, then he has still gotten off easier than the rest of us. We miss her every day, and we don't understand. And I don't know how else to end this.